Hey guys, welcome to the next commercial breakdown. Now this one's on a spot we did Kellogg Special K, and it was all about multiplicity and lots of split screens and cloning and replicating talent. So I'm just scrubbing through now. I'll just make this a little bit bigger. So this is our offline, and you can see it's a series of splits just here. Another split screen, fairly simple. This one we chose to have key behind here. If I scrub through, you can see this one's a little more complicated for the split. So again, it's the 3 separate takes as she gets up. This one again on set wasn't really very green, and for the size and everything, especially tell it made sense to rotor these guys and key them in. So through we see another split, and then a bigger of all the different green screens. So the challenge for this one was obviously couch blended and just getting everything to interact and just kind of covering the same. And also we had to get rid of this this bit from on set, which just couldn't be covered based on the camera. So just gonna go down here and show you, kind of step through where we started. So if I just toggle down, you see this one, she was actually shot practically, and if I toggle all the way up, you see there's a couple little color tweaks, and if I go down, we got vent, and then this is the fill-in for the actual base of the ground. So for the base of the ground, this was just a photo that was taken at the right perspective, and then the ground was also just cloned in. Now I'm gonna jump in, and my image is offline, which is handy, but you kind of get the gist. So here's one of my paint setups, and if we go over here, you can see here's the little masks that we used just to kind of fill in areas. And again, that one image is off, but you get the gist with that one. And I'll just quickly bomb out of this so I can get out. Now I guess onto one of a bit more of a trickier shot. It was definitely this this split here, because we had obviously the 3 takes. For this close, it didn't make sense to have green screen because we'd lose all this hair detail. And I'll just toggle the focus point to see. Here's kind of, I guess, one of the early starting points. So we kind of keyed and just blended where we had to. So I'll jump in to one of these guys. And yes, everything's working, which is good. So if we just toggle through, you see this is one of the keys with a little bit of roto and cleanup for the talent, and pixel spread to help for little bits. And again, if we look back at this, for this, we see we always had stand-in talent too, just to help with shadows to interact with. Also, there wasn't an extra person in this shot, so we just had the little C stand at eye level so she could interact, and kind of we knew where things were on set. I was going to scrub through most of these. Again, it's just roto, but if I look at this setup, give it a second, there we go, and I just press Alt-2. Something's come off, there we go. So if I just go into action and I just turn off a couple of these, you'll see. So this one was just for her little hair detail on the right. If I just zoom, you see it was just a little filler. And again, if we pull back a little, here's her little fill in for where she was. And again, lots of roto, lots of fun. And if we toggle the shadow too, so even though we had real shadows for this, some kind of tweaked because sometimes it doesn't look right. And again, there's our split with the girl with the stand-in talent. So I'm gonna jump out. Pretty much most of the similar setups, kind of each shot had its own challenges. This one, so a bit of a challenge. So it was obviously combining the 3 takes. They went past, so roto, keying, and then also keyframing the focus pull. So go in here to this main setup, and we'll give it a second. Hopefully everything's in there. There we go. So this one's a little bit of a bigger, so there were some, if I do F4, there were some little color tweaks, plants and stuff for kind of art direction, just pre-everything. And then from there, here's one of the mats. It's just been pre-batch effects, just to speed us. and it's struggling a little. So that's kind of the key we ended up getting with difference key, and then also just painting back in details where we had to with the motion blur. And then obviously this was one of the stand-in takes, and you see we blurred it to the other take, so I'll just scrub through. And so that was her eyeline, which helped. And then if we go back to this take, this was the main hero talent one for this, where she walks, again, the background was a little bit softer, and she interacts with her going off and walks towards camera, and then we have a little rack focus, which we tried to replicate. And again, this combination of Kia 3D, lots of G masks, and lots of paint. If we go down to this part, you can see this is just all the key combined. And keep going through, some more paint. And again, the first section, this was made, so the first section was these two guys, because they get keyframed off in the distance with the focus pull. So once that was done and there was a little bit of cleanup, then there was the keyframing, which happens here for the lens blooming. If we go to the main setup after that, this is our combo of all the bits that were hidden. So if I hide that layer, that was our little wipe for her, which was, I think, just along here for that scene, because it was the kind of easiest point. Here's a little two just for this part of the fridge that actually helped when the talent ran because there was a noticeable shift in color and kind of the position of these. And again, if I just toggle these, see just the bits we had to kind of blend in and, you know, just to help get away what we were trying to do. And then obviously there was a couple little, pretty sure this this is the blur for the hair. So we just kind of blurred in the hair just at the end, just to kiss it in, because it wasn't really doing what we did. And then a little bit of grain to kind of kiss everything back in. Now I'll jump to a bigger shot, which was one of the, I think six people in, and show you the setups, how we dealt with the noisy keys from the, which it can produce when it's shot on ProRes. So give it another second, and here we are. So again, this is another split. That was tweaking to all these to have the special K red for what the client. Now, so these are just basic product stuff and a little bit of cleanup as well. This was just the frames as to the offline, so we've just done a little bit of set extension, nothing too fancy there. And again, they've just had a little bit of cleanup and little things like in the offline as that second plate got put down, it kind of swiveled, and so we just got rid of the swivel, so it was a little bit cleaner too. So we'll jump it up, which is a bit of a bigger one. So again, there's little color tweaks that are happening in the background, and again, the actual cleanup of the underneath the couch was just a back clip, so we could just kind of apply this to each of the other shots. But we'll go into the main with the keys and the comps, and we'll have a look at how this was done. So this one was a little bit more, I'm not going to say problematic, but it just required a little bit more love for comping. So some of these keys were a little bit fun. And if we go F1, F4, we can see what's happening. And then some of them we ended up having to go to the ungraded offline because there was just a bit too much noise introduced from the grade that just, can happen sometimes. So first we actually did a trick just for denoising the raw footage, and even the raw footage has that natural inherent grain that the Alexa has. But in there, you can actually pull, I guess it's similar to the YUV blur trick, but you can get a lot smoother edges for your talent when you're having trouble with. So if I just toggle F1 and then F4, you see what these were just kind of pushing back in, which is just all these little fine details, and our final key for that part. And then again, all of these were just masked into the key bits, just to where we got away with the blend. And again, for each of these, it was pretty much the same process for just blending these guys in. And go to the main comp, again, just the same process across all. And again, for the wides, you'll see too, again, we had stand-in talent when we could to really make this work. I'm just going to go up to the main comp now and give it a second. And just go into 2-up and press escape. You can see all the layers we got, and how we got away with the keys. Like if we zoom in, you can see we chose these where we had to, and we're away with blends. And again, the edges of the scouts were actually quite a challenge because they were kind of got occluded, but all these little set dressings actually helped and as something to hide behind. And again, kind of toggle through. You can see, we had to kind of shift some little bits. Again, I'll turn it off, and you can see exactly what we kind of did here. And it was a fun spot, and that's it for this breakdown. I hope you guys found it useful. Stay tuned for more.